Oh man, I cannot express to you how funny I thought that Instagram picture was. I laughed out loud.
I mean,
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
yeah, because it's obviously a full picture of Alex.
Yeah, yeah,
And I said,
yeah.
"Hey,
Like
Alex, let me
I
take a
was,
picture with you."
yeah, no, that's literally how I explained it to someone. I said, "Here's exactly what happened." Sam said, "Alex, hey, I want to take a picture of you for the episode," and then you just zoomed in on Lindsay.
Absolutely. Well, there is. What's funny is there is a full picture. It's just when I put it on Instagram, I cropped it so he would not
Yeah,
be in
yeah,
it.
I know. That's why I thought it was because he like because Alex is smiling in such a way that like you very clearly set up a picture of him,
Yeah.
and then you just like were like zoomed in on Lindsay instead.
Yeah. And I think because what I want is that eventually people will start to get onto the joke that like,
Uh,
oh, there's something about the Lindsay thing that's a joke. Like there's something about Lindsay Jacobs that is not. And so I wanted to give a little clue that like, why is there someone else's face in this pic? Like, who is this other person? And it's like that is Lindsay's husband, our actual friend. I mean, Lindsay is our friend, but that is
yeah,
Lindsay's
yeah,
husband.
the
Who's
actual fan.
the actual fan. Although I think Lindsay actually likes it. Um,
Lindsay, I really enjoyed that she did the double hearts on our picture. I thought
yeah,
that was also so
she's
funny.
keeping up the illusion.
Yeah, keeping up the illusion. Yeah, because I imagine like people looking at that as like, why, like, why don't you just have a picture of like, why isn't she smiling? Like, what's going? Why?
Yeah,
Who is this other person?
yeah,
Why is he smiling? Why isn't? Why is she like not looking at the camera?
yep. Because it's not a picture of her.
Not a picture of her. Well, it is, but it isn't.
Well, whatever. All right, I'm gonna start the show.
Wait, do you want me to ask you about the alternate universe
Also,
thing?
no, because I realized we cut that out of the last show, so it
Okay.
wouldn't make sense. So you asked me about the alternate universe, but it wouldn't. Oh, but I do want to explain to you a couple things. One, actually, both of these things have to do with art being a lie. So, um, this episode is going. I mean, did you solve the puzzle?
No, I got pretty close, but I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this episode is going to have to do with World War One, and so the way I would like it to work, because again, I'm trying to work with different formats,
Mm-hmm.
is I'm gonna go. We'll talk a little bit in the beginning, and then I'll explain to you how to solve the puzzle, and then based on the answer, it'll make sense, but it will lead you into talking about World War One, and then you and I can talk about World War One.
Okay.
Preferably, I mean, we can maybe talk about that whole idea of did the Treaty of Versailles lead to the War on Terror?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that you never responded to my text about, but maybe that's good because
Yeah,
now we can have that
actually,
discussion
the
now.
funny thing, I got the text later. I didn't tell you this. My phone broke, and so for like 3 days, I didn't get any text messages. And then like
Well, I
I
know that
got my
you have.
I got my phone all fixed, and then like I got a bunch of like texts from like the past, like
Well, I know
periodically.
you've talked to me about the inevitability of the Third Reich, regardless of Hitler. So
Yep.
I know that we have
We
not
have this
differing views.
conversation on deck, and we don't even.
Yeah, exactly. So but I'm just telling you that's the way I would like this to go. Is we're gonna do a lot of puzzle and because there's not really a story behind the puzzle, but the puzzle's really cool. So
Yeah.
do puzzle in the front, and then the topic around it we just talk about, and then at some point that will kind of come to an end, and we'll be done.
Okay.
Second thing about art being a lie is I think it would be great in the off season is to like every 2 weeks or whatever, if I just cut up a mash of stuff we've cut out of the show.
Oh yeah, some bonus stuff.
Yeah, and just call it like Art is a Lie episode 1. So the joke is, and like I'll do it, both of us can do a little like intro. So like one episode it'll be me, another one will be you. We're just explaining like, hey, we're off until March or however long we're off. Like we're off for a
Blankety
few
blank, yeah.
months, but in the meantime, like here's some stuff we cut out of the show, and we're calling it Art is a Lie because the the idea that like the final product is constructed. Like we do put effort into constructing the final product,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that actually is in the like we construct it so it sounds like a natural conversation, but actually it
Yeah.
isn't. There's a lot of it that we have just cut together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in light
Can't
of
wait
that,
for
and
the
just have
live
like
episode. Art is a Lie episode 1. That motherfucker can double down. That is my favorite quote from
That
the
motherfucker
Rock out of that
double
episode.
down.
That
Mine was
that
I
motherfucker can
take no
double down.
scoffs. Which had we not taken that section out, that was going to be the title. Was I take no scoffs. I take
I take no
them.
scoffs. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, those were the things that I wanted to say. And all right. Hey everybody, welcome to Solve It. Sorry, I think I'm gonna say something about the live show. Hey everybody, welcome to Solve It. Shit. Hey everybody, welcome to Solve It. This is a show where we talk about puzzles, ciphers, and the history of encryption. My name's Sam Cherry, and I'm hosting as always.
Zach Johnson.
Sorry, I fucked that up. I'm hosting as always.
I'm hosting as always. Let's start the show.
I'm hosting as always. Hey everybody, welcome to Solve It. This is a show where we talk about puzzles, ciphers, and the history of encryption. My name's Sam Cherry, and I'm hosting as always with
Zach Johnson.
How are you? What part of that's confusing?
There was such a long pause.
No. I said it once and you didn't respond.
Oh, okay. Then I guess it must have cut out. I'm sorry. Yeah. All I heard is like, I'm Zach Johnson. Then like 5 seconds of silence. Then, how are you? Well, I'm doing well.
Okay, good.
I don't know. I don't know if you want to cut that. I have no idea.
Just say it like, Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. We are back on track, back on schedule. I'm figuring out how to balance a full-time job with a podcast, but I think we'll be.
And also a broken computer with a full-time podcast.
That's true. That is true. Every week on Solve It, we send each other puzzles. And Zach, this week I sent you a puzzle. Would you like to describe it?
I would like to describe it. So the puzzle that Sam sent me is a bunch of dots and dashes that we can recognize from previous episodes as Morse code, right?
Correct.
Rad. Okay, good. That would have been really embarrassed if I said that with confidence, and then it would have been wrong. And it's a series of dots and dashes, and all those dots and dashes are over a photograph, and the photograph is a photograph from the Treaty of Versailles, which we'll get into later in the episode. And there are 6 men, and the 6 men are the German delegates of the Treaty of Versailles. So we have like the German president, and we have like the ministers of like economics and things like that, just in this picture meeting together prior to signing the Treaty of Versailles. And I went ahead and solved the part with the Morse code, I think.
Okay.
Is it complete gibberish?
It is not gibberish, but it is also not words.
Okay, good. So it's I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say all of it, but it is a collection of X, A, G, D, and F, just in different orders.
Correct.
Oh, rad, kind of. I think you said correct with a question mark. Okay.
Well, no, you're correct. The code cipher that I used this week was the ADFGX cipher. And it is called that because it only uses the letters ADFGX. And the reason it uses those letters is because in Morse code, they sound very differently. So it was very easy to figure out what the letters were. Since it was going to be a cipher anyway, they used letters that in Morse code would be very distinct from one another, so you wouldn't get it mixed up. Because you think about if you had a message in just plain text in Morse code, if you got one of the letters wrong, you could probably look at it and see like, oh yeah, I put an A, but actually it was an E. You can figure it out. But when it's ciphered up like this, where you actually need to know which letters in which order, they wanted to make sure that it was very distinct when listening to it, which was which. So that is the code cipher.
Man, dang,
Go ahead.
I flew so off the rails because I was like, oh, it's a picture of the Treaty of Versailles. Sam's going to lead this into how the German economy was destroyed and how this led into World War II. And the cipher he's using is the Enigma machine. And then I like went and did all this research, and I was like, I have no idea what it. I did a bunch of research on the Enigma machine, and then like I concluded I was like, I think I actually need a physical version of this in order to solve it. Because I don't know how to solve.
That's so weird.
How is this weird?
That's weird. That's weird to imagine that you would need a physical machine with lots of parts to solve that kind of code. Never mind. It doesn't matter. We'll move on. If yeah, I wonder how you would get one of those machines. So what kind of code this is the ADF.
Is this foreshadowing?
X code. Yes, used by the Germans. It was a German code in World War I. Now, first we're going to go, before we get to the topical section, we'll go through the actual puzzle. So, have you written out all of the Morse code?
I have.
Part of it? Okay, great. So, what was the tweet that I sent you?
The tweet that you sent me was, this week's puzzle has a pretty simple keyword.
Okay. Now, as per rule number 2, the only rule that we really actually even talk about anymore, all of the clues have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you know what the keyword is?
Is it keyword?
It is keyword.
Yes!
It for reasons that will make sense soon. Well, actually, for reasons that will make sense right now. It needed to be 7 letters long. I wanted it to be password. Soon. I wanted like password to be password, but it didn't. And then I was like, oh, keyword. Keyword is keyword. So this is actually really similar to the transposition cipher. That this cipher takes a couple of stages, and this section is just like the transposition cipher that we used in episode 2. So from that, can you? So what you would do is you take the letters and put them into a grid of 7 by 4. So 4 rows and 7 columns. Okay. Also, shout out to our one viewer. Thanks for joining us on the live show. And as always, if you know us, shoot us a text because we're going to cut this out of the regular show.
So 7 by 4. So like 7. What I can never tell the difference. Which one is a column and which one's a row?
Oh, come on!
Don't do that to me.
Okay.
We all know I can't divide, so let's just go ahead and assume that I also don't know how to do graphs.
Okay, so think of a Roman column.
And a Roman row. Got it.
We'll think of a row of hedges.
Okay.
Yeah, rows are horizontal, columns are vertical. Oh, we lost our one viewer. Tight.
Wait.
They didn't like me being condescending.
Oh.
Oh, wait, I got a text.
Yeah, it's our number 1 fan, Lindsay Jacobs.
Oh, right. You're welcome. Well, now he's gone. Now they're gone.
I got him too. Hold on. Wait, so columns are vertical and rows are horizontal.
Yeah, think about what the real life.
Okay, yeah, but that's what I thought, but that's not what you said.
Column.
You said columns are horizontal and rows are vertical.
Well, you might be right. Anyway, no, columns are vertical, rows are horizontal. So there's 7 horizontal columns and 4 horizontal rows. I guess technically 5 because you need to use the keyword. So there's 5 horizontal rows, but whatever.
So do I have 5 horizontal rows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the top row is going to be the keyword.
Got it.
But also now I have Alex's number, which is good.
Did you not have Alex's number before?
I guess not.
Really?
I mean, I updated my phone a while ago, when I got my smartphone.
Alex did not make the cut.
Well, he had already graduated. No, I didn't make a choice. My phone wasn't just like, based on the number of people you text, these numbers stay. It was just that. I like him. I saw his human baby yesterday.
Had you ever seen his human baby before?
No, I had not. Although he, being self-deprecating as he is, he was like, and again, being Alex, he was just like, "Yep, she's kind of a fat slob right now." And I said, "Oh, she takes after her dad." He really set me up for that one. Oh, she takes after her dad.
GGDFF.
Okay, so just to update the viewers, Zach is putting the letters that he's gotten from the Morse code into a grid of 4x7, which we took a long time debating if which number comes first, the rows or the columns, but a grid of 4 rows and 7 columns.
XFX.
Oh. So your top row should be X, A, G, D, F, F, X. Is that what you have?
Yep. Yeah.
And are you at your bottom row yet?
Yeah. Hold on. XFFD.
No.
No. Sorry. XFDF.
No.
Whoa. I'm lost. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Everything's fine. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So the bottom row is not XFX.
That's correct.
XFXDFGF.
Correct. You know what's funny is while these letters are really easy to distinguish apart in Morse code, very difficult in like spoken English.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
So you're good. You've got that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think our number one fan, Lindsay Jacobs, is actually playing along. We can see who can figure it out first.
Hopefully me.
So you have
telling me what's happening.
Well, she's also listening. So you have them in this grid. Now you know that you need a keyword, and you would use the transposition cipher like you would in episode 2. So do you know what the next step is?
Oh, so right now I'm going to put all these into, like, I will do XGFFAGXXGDAF, like that.
What? No. What? Take the keyword and
like,
put it.
So for example, I would do the keyword in so in this situation.
So the keyword is keyword, right?
Because E comes first.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So what you would do is, and there's a clue in this actually in the name of the cipher, because it's the ADFGX, right? The letters are in alphabetical order. So what you do with the keyword when you're decoding it is you put the letters from whatever the keyword is in alphabetical order at the top of each row. So your fifth row, your top row should be DEKORWY. Good.
Okay. Yeah. So instead of putting the encoded text in alphabetical order, I would put keyword in alphabetical order?
Correct. Above the columns.
Okay. So D E. Hold on, let me see here. No.
And then once you've got them on top there, you would treat each column like one object, right? So there's the D column, the E column, the K column, the O column, and so on. Them so that keyword is spelled like it spells out keyword. So you would take
Okay.
the K column and put it in the front. So the first column would then be GDAX, and then you'd put the E column. Well, actually, the E column would stay where it is.
Got it. 2, 3. Dikorwi. It's the name of a Viking god.
Corey.
So, for example, the first set should be uh, GDAF.
GDAX, but yes.
Ooh, no. What? Oh no. GDAX?
Correct, yeah.
Cuss.
No, that should be right from what you were explaining before. So you take the
Yeah,
K,
yeah.
the K
Hold on.
column.
No, I did something wrong. I had to fix something.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Got it.
Not just
So
yet.
your first row should read GAX
Jeez
FDFX.
Louise. Hold on. I have to turn my phone to silent because
Yeah.
friggin' Lindsay Jacobs.
I already did, yeah. Lindsay suggested that we change the name of the episode to Zach Sucks at Puzzles. I'll
Huh?
probably cut that out.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, well, you got a text about it, so it's fine.
Okay. GDA. Okay.
So your first row should have you gotten keyword spelled out?
Yeah.
Okay, so your first row should be GAX FDFX. So you have.
Yes.
So that's the Playfair section of the cipher. Now you get into the last part, which uses another kind of cipher called a variation on a cipher called the Polybius. Man, I'm saying that so wrong. Do you know how to say it? Polybius?
I don't know what it is.
I'm going to say polybius square. So the next section of the cipher uses a variation on a polybius square, which is a grid that assigns values based on the letters placement in the grid. And for this, the German code, actually what they would use is a randomized alphabet grid. So because of that, it would be impossible for you to know what it is. So I just used the one on the wiki for the first grid on the wiki for the ADFGX cipher. So go to Wikipedia and you will find a randomized alphabet, and that is the one that you're going to use. Now what you'll do is, okay, so you have your grid full of letters, right, that have been unscrambled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And take those letters, and maybe it would be easier to write them all out on a line, but break them into pairs, right? So you have GA, XF, DF, XD, and keep going like that. And you should have 14 pairs at the end. Okay?
Okay.
And then when you get the randomized alphabet grid from the Wikipedia article, you'll see that what you need to do is it'll line up like the top row of the grid is X, and the bottom row, like the y-axis, is also ADFGX. So those pairs are your coordinates. So the first number or the first letter is your horizontal value. No, I'm sorry. Is your vertical value, and the second letter is your horizontal value. So are you looking at the wiki square yet?
Not yet. I'm putting everything into pairs right now.
Okay. Um, so
Okay.
if you
All my stuff is in pairs.
okay, look on the wiki.
Okay, here we go. What's the wiki again?
The ADFGX cipher.
Oh, I was already there. Cool.
I'm gonna look it up as well just to make sure that I have that is the right page. There's a variation that also has a V in it, but that's not the one we're using.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first row on the wiki one, it's under the heading operation of ADFGX, and the first row should be BTALP. Is that what you're looking at?
What?
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at operation of ADFGX, but you said yeah. What? Hold on. What'd you say?
So you see that there's the headers, which are the ADFGX, and then inside the randomized alphabet, the first row should be BTALP.
Oh, yes, got it.
Correct. Okay. So what you're going to do is you take those pairs, those coordinates, and you're going to use the first letter as the vertical value and the second letter as the horizontal value. So the first pair that you should get is GA. So go to the G row
and A, which is
column. G. Right. And so the letter you should be getting is G.
Got it.
And you can do that, and that will decipher the puzzle. And we'll see if Lindsay can text us before with the answers.
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, hopefully they have up the wiki page. But yeah, I think that's something really interesting is the code breakers, what they would use is a randomized alphabet. So like we had to use like, okay, whatever the first entry is on the Wikipedia, just because, this is a show and art is a lie. But they would just, I guess they would have to communicate to each other somehow, like, hey, this is the randomized grid that we used, which I thought was crazy. And I don't know how they communicated that, but it is one of those famous thought to be unbreakable ciphers that the Germans came up with. And even in there, yeah, of course, as every article about every cipher, there's an entry where they say it was thought to be unbreakable. And it's like,
they're always unbreakable.
It's like they're obviously breakable. You just need pieces. It's unbreakable if you have no information, like, I guess. But even then, like frequency analysis, any substitutionary cipher without like variation is always going to be breakable. And even with variation, there's only there's a set number of variations. So theoretically, every substitution cipher is breakable. Cool. While Zach is solving the puzzle, I just want to remind everyone So while Zach is solving the puzzle, I want to ask if you guys would go rate and review the podcast on iTunes. It helps us get exposure and find new viewers, grow the audience, which has been growing steadily, but, do that again. While Zach is solving the puzzle, I just want to ask you guys to go rate and review the podcast. It really helps us a lot get exposure and find new audience. Also, if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, SoundCloud, Friendster, Zanga. Hold on. Oh, perfect. And while Zach is solving the puzzle, and while Zach is solving the puzzle, I just want to ask if you guys could go to And while Zach is solving the puzzle, I want to remind you guys to go to iTunes and rate and review the podcast. It really helps us out and helps us get exposure. Also, if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, Friendster, farmersonly.com, Christian Mingle, and all the other great sites that you could find on the internet. So come check us out. Reddit. I'm just going to put that one in there. Oh, here we go. Cool. I found a list of social networking sites. Buzznet, Cafe Mom, Caring Bridge, Classmates.com, Clobe, Couchsurfing, Uber, Lyft, TaskRabbit, Cyworld, Daily Booth, Divergent Art, Eons.com, Flickster, Netflix, Hulu, Foursquare, Ancestry.com, Genie.com, Goodreads, Have you finished the puzzle?
Kind of. And as is always, whenever I'm supposed to do a puzzle, somewhere along the line, I made a horrible mistake, and now I'm like, as you're doing the entire thing, like I realized about 40 seconds in that I had messed up, and then the entire time you're doing that social media thing, I was like, I redid the puzzle from scratch.
Oh, geez. Okay. Do you have any? Can you think of any other social media sites that would be?
No. Okay, but I'll tell you what I have. And tell me if it's right or not. And then in that case, we can just record me saying I have it. It's the first part is George. And the second part is just shenanigans. Like it's SPAJNVJN.
No J's. It's George's. I guess it's an S. That's what I wrote down too. I think that's his name. George's. Whatever. Maybe it's George. Maybe it's George S. That's his middle initial. George S. PAINVIN.
Okay, then I must have.
FX is N.
Let's see. FX. That makes sense in the case that Um, let me see. G. Oh, you're doing that thing again.
Doing what thing again?
Where I and J are consolidated.
Oh, yes. Which
Yeah,
should
yeah,
be how
yeah.
it is.
So
It should be how it is on the. Oh,
on
you
the
put
on the
in
thing,
J's. Yes.
yeah, on the thing,
PAJ and yeah.
yeah, on the thing, mine just says RG George S Painvin. Yeah.
Correct.
So it in okay, so I solved it in the case that I and J are consolidated.
Correct.
Cool. All right, then I got it.
Okay. Yes, that is the name of George S.
Oh, wait. Are we gonna
Go
re-record
ahead.
that?
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah. All right, Zach. So have you solved the puzzle yet?
Yeah, I did. So in this case, I think what's going on is that I and J are consolidated.
Correct.
Is that right?
As always.
Oh, cool. Then I definitely okay. Then I yeah. Then I definitely have it. Um, the answer is uh George Spinvin.
It is close. Yeah. Well, yes, you are correct. It is George S. Painvin. It as if
Oh,
his
well,
middle initial.
well, then how would I have known that?
Well, how would you have known that the J's were actually I's? You know, it's all an enigma.
That yeah.
Um, so George S.
Oh, well,
Painvin is
who is
he was
this?
a French cryptographer. A French cryptographer who actually broke this code back in World War One. And the reason that I used the Treaty of Versailles was to remind everyone that it is always fun to beat the Germans at things. And the Treaty of Versailles was an example of the French decimating and humiliating the Germans, just like George S. Painvin did in this case. That was so bad.
Oh, you can do that. You can do that. Art is a lie, and you can do that as many times as you want.
I know that was bad. That is the punchline is it's fun to humiliate the Germans, but I'm just gonna put my notes down because I don't need them for this.
Yeah.
Yes, the name is yes, George S. Painvin is the French cryptographer who actually cracked the code in World War One. It was a German code, as I had mentioned before, and he actually spent tireless hours working to crack the code and had so physically exhausted himself that he became physically ill and lost like 15 or 20 pounds while
Dang.
trying to solve the code. But eventually he did, because as we stated, it is not unbreakable, and helped beat the Germans. And when they were defeated, they were humiliated by the entire French people at the Treaty of Versailles, which is what is the picture in the background, is the German elites having to sign a treaty that blamed them for the entire war. And I would argue caused every major war since then and was a huge disaster and a terrible idea for France. But
yeah, well,
George Painvin did get to beat the Germans on the code breaking side.
Well, I mean, what you said right there. Now, our very loyal listeners will know that Solve It Podcast takes a very strict stance that the past is terrible and history is for nerds.
Yes.
But yes, I also agree with you on that. That the Treaty of Versailles really is this pinpoint that you can therefore bring back to all of most of history today, can all be kind of linked back to that one signing of that document.
Right, because if you follow the thread, it's like, and you can speak more on this because you know more about it, but the Treaty of Versailles led to fascism, which led to World War II, and which is all fine and good, except for that at the same time, the Bolshevik Revolution caused communist Russia. And so after World War II, we ended up with a split Berlin, and the Cold War started. Fast forward, and I sent you a text about this recently, that I think the Treaty of Versailles is the reason that we have the War on Terror, because during the Cold War, when the USSR was trying to invade Afghanistan, armed the Taliban to stop communism. And then after the Cold War was over, we then had to deal with Islamic extremism, and led to the War on Terror. And after leaving the Middle East, left a power vacuum that now has us dealing with ISIS, which, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other events that I'm leaving out, but I can see a pretty clear thread from the Treaty of Versailles to ISIS.
Yeah, that is, I would say that's really true. Because once again, I think we've had many conversations about this in college, much to the hatred of friends who were in the same room while you and I were just manhandling all the conversations with this. But there were several times throughout college. There were several times throughout college where Sam would ask me the ever-present question, which you're to ask every historian, which is, if you were to go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler?
The most important question of our day.
The most important question of our day. In fact, I don't know why. Like, if that doesn't come up in the presidential debates, I'm out. Like, I had to put in a third-party candidate that I know their stance on whether or not they would kill baby Hitler.
Because in case you're, because we obviously have talked about this a lot, but in case you're not fully understanding the weight of this decision, kill Hitler, easy, but you have to kill a baby to kill Hitler.
Okay,
right. This is the problem.
But in our conversation,
you stop the Holocaust, but you have to kill a baby.
In our conversations, you will remember that I took a firm stance on not killing baby Hitler, not
because
for the purpose.
The Holocaust.
Not because I support the Holocaust, but because of the Treaty of Versailles. I think that that World War II was an inevitability. In fact, World War II is pretty much just an 18-year break between World War I and, like, it was just it's just World War I. The reason it's called World War I is because essentially the reason it's called World War II is because it's essentially just World War I continued. It is just a continuation of all of the things that was happening there, but just with bigger guns. And there's just an 18-year break in between those two things. And in that time, anybody could have risen to power because the atmosphere for World War II was so right that anyone could have risen to power. And the person that Germany just happened to get was this defunct art student that had a really, really good public speaking ability and had risen his way up to the top. But then again, it could have been anybody. And I like to live in a world where the person that was in control of Germany during this tumultuous time was not someone with war experience or not someone that had general experience, because it could have been way, way worse. So
like a better idea than just blitzkrieg everyone forever.
Yeah. Someone that had a better idea than just like, I think we could win this war in like 2 months if we just like hit everyone as hard as we can, as fast as we can. What after those 2 months? Oh no, we'll win after that.
Right. That's what I love about it.
No, but we will.
Blitzkrieg, and then no, just blitzkrieg. Like, we're going to. What does it mean? It means like like lightning strike. What does blitzkrieg mean?
Yeah, I mean, it means lightning strike.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, just lightning strike. And what if that doesn't work? No, it will. That's our whole plan. And it's like, okay.
But that's the equivalent of like telling, like, if you're a boxing coach, just like telling your guy, it's like, hey, just punch him as hard as you can, as fast as you can, always. And then round 2, oh no, there won't be a round 2.
But what if there is?
Because you will have knocked him out.
Don't worry, we'll already be in Russian winter by then.
Yeah, but what if there's round 2? No. You don't understand. There's not gonna be round 2. And then when round 2 happened, it was like, well, I will be damned. How?
As it turns out.
So because of the Treaty of Versailles, I take a very firm stance on.
You have a pro-Hitler stance.
In a time travel context, yes, I have a pro-Hitler stance, which is a terrible thing to say.
This is why you'll never be. This is why you'll never be president.
This is gonna like come back to get me like later when I'm running for like, I don't know, president. It's like
Zach Johnson, pro-Hitler.
2000 an audio file from 2016 reveals that Zach Johnson, presidential candidate, is pro-Hitler.
Yep. Pro-Hitler, anti-time travel.
Pro-Hitler, anti-time travel. Zach Johnson, is this who you want as your president? They would just cut and splice it to just where I just say like, yes, I have a pro-Hitler stance.
Actually, well, no, I mean you did just straightforward say it.
Yeah. No, but they would chop and screw it, and then they would like
I see.
they would chop and screw it, and then fade my picture to black and white, and then it'd be like, yeah, is this who you want as president? It would be as big of a bombshell as the Donald Trump 2005 video thing.
Oh, well, first of all, we can't talk about Donald Trump.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Because it will make me furious and I'll break my computer.
Yeah, we cannot have that. In between season 2 and in between season 1 and season 2, you can break computer as much as you want, but while we're still in the middle of this.
Yeah. This also reminds me of speaking of Hitler. Did we
Lindsay Jacobs also has a pro-Hitler stance according to recent text messages.
No, I know, I saw that.
Lindsay Jacobs pro-Hitler.
Lindsay Jacobs pro-Hitler. Did we cut the Wagner story from? Yeah, that was the long education story that we cut, right?
The Wagner story
about how Wagner is not Hitler.
Oh, yeah. Did we cut that?
Yeah, we did. Okay, so I'll tell it again.
Oh man, that was funny.
This also reminds me of so as I've mentioned before, did we cut this? I have no. I'll just cut it again if we didn't.
Yeah, it's true. That's smart.
This actually reminds me of. Go ahead.
Oh no, you continue. I was trying to remember what episode it's from, but I remembered. So anyway, continue.
Yeah. This reminds me of when I was in high school. Through the failures of the school system, I ended up taking like 8 to 12 music appreciation classes in my time in school, and so I was constantly being taught how to read music. But there was one moment in one of my, I think this was arts and humanities, which I also took 6 or 7 times, because we didn't have enough money for different electives, and so every school I went to had like 3 electives, and I just took all of them over and over again. But we were sitting in class, and the teacher pulls up this picture of this guy, and we're going through composers, and she says, now this is not Hitler. And I remember being like, what? Like, what did she just say? And then she clarified. She's like, this person on screen is Richard Wagner. He's not Hitler. Which again, like, Hitler is one of the most recognizable faces in history. She's like, he's not Hitler. Hitler listened to his music a lot, but this guy isn't Hitler. And I remember being like, okay, this is totally crazy. But this lady was a little weird anyway. And then when I went to college, I was sitting in a music appreciation class, again, for maybe the 13th time. And my teacher pulls up this picture of Wagner and says, this is Richard Wagner. He's not Hitler. Just so we're clear, this guy, not Hitler. As if that was like a confusing topic for all of us. Like we didn't know who was and wasn't Hitler.
This will be on the test. This is a picture of William Wagner. It says like Hitler ? Yes, no.
Is his name William Wagner?
Willem Wagner, but whatever.
His birthday might be Richard.
Oh shoot! Yeah, it is Richard. Ooh, oh no!
Oh, okay, I thought the last time we talked about this, I called him Wagner for the whole freaking time. So I just call him Richard Wagner. It's like that is not his name's Wagner. It's fine. I also don't know how to conclude the show.
I know we really put ourselves into a bit of a loop here.
Okay, well we can as we're always experimenting with formats of how the show goes. Puzzle and then opened into discussion about history. Not a good one. We'll put that in the bed. All right, I'm going to cut it there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have that be our outro. No, that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's just not a good one. Ha ha ha. It's like, okay, cool, we're done. That's it. Because there's no way to recover from that. I mean, I think.
There's
here's the thing: we've had that fight a whole bunch of times about the inevitability of Hitler, but I think the last time I was not aware of how important the Treaty of Versailles was. So now we agree with each other.
Right?
The Treaty of
Yes.
Versailles is like pivotal. Well, and especially when you contrast it with the Marshall Plan, which was like, not only are we not going to give you all the taxes in the world, we're going to help you. We're going to rebuild your whole country, right? Like, and now Germany and Japan are like these two huge allies. And it's like
Yeah.
the Marshall Plan was the total opposite of the Treaty of Versailles, and like it worked out great and was a really good idea.
Man, the Treaty of Versailles really was just like you just blame everything on like the nerdy kid, and then he starts immediately hitting the gym,
Yeah, exactly.
and then he comes back
Let's-
with like a fury, and then punches you as hard as he can, like 4 or 5 times.
he gets really into the Ramones, and then breaks Poland's diorama. That's what he does. But I do think it's weird that Hitler, being someone who is obsessed with Napoleon, then decided to also invade Russia in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
what book did you read, dude?
no, I mean, yeah, I think that just like, of course, then again, that just might be the idea of like, well, that was then, and they were on horses and stuff. We have tanks, like we have tanks and stuff. So yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
As long as like our tanks don't die, like we're fine. So yeah, I just imagine like in the same thing, like that could very well happen again in a time period where like instead of guns, we have like lasers. We have laser guns, and they're just like, yeah, we can invade Russia in the winter. Well, that's a bad idea. Yeah, we have laser guns now.
Yeah, that's true. So you mean literally right now, like now in time?
Yeah.
Like we have drones.
Yeah, we have laser guns now. Yeah, we have. Yeah, exactly.
Do we have laser guns? Do we have laser guns? Are lasers real? Like I know lasers are real. Yeah, because you can like cut steel with lasers.
Can you cut steel with lasers?
Like-
You're thinking of
Yeah.
You're thinking of movie. You're thinking of Star Wars. That's a lightsaber.
No. But like, there's actual like in factories they use lasers to cut steel. Am I totally making this up?
You're thinking of saws.
I'm not thinking of saws. I'm thinking of lasers. I think people use laser beams to cut things. Why aren't lasers more part of our technology?
I don't know. I don't know what I would do with a laser.
Well, if it was like a
I don't
war.
know. That's true.
I also don't know what you would use. Like, you wouldn't use an AK-47 to open a can of beans, but if you were in a
Listen,
war,
I'm an American. I will use my AK-47 as well as I want. I will use it for whatever purpose I have.
if that's opening beans, if that's invading Russia in the winter, I will do as I please. AK-47s also aren't those Russian guns? No, that's a Kalashnikov. Or what do you call it?
It's an automated Kalashnikov. Yeah, I think that's Russian.
Yeah, but is that what the K in AK-47 is?
Yeah, it's the guy's last name.
Oh, I didn't know any of that. I thought a Kalashnikov and an AK-47 were two different guns.
No, it's that's his last name, and it's it's like the A is automated.
I had not even considered what the letters stood for. What's an M16?
Huh?
What does the M and M16 stand for?
Merc. I have no idea.
Merc. Tight. Okay, we can put this in another on the list of bad formats.
You gotta experiment with new formats. You can't, man. You
I
gotta.
know.
And here at Solomon Podcast, we always fly too close to the sun.
Yeah, because that's
We're
where
the Icarus
that's where the
podcast.
that's where the fun is.
Yeah, close to the sun. Do you have an outro joke? No.
Of course not. I'll look up. Hey, and it's right at 2:00. Whatever. I'll stitch this together. The puzzle was really good.
Yeah,
Turns
no.
out Banjo was bad.
Here's the thing. Your puzzles are always really good. Like your puzzles are always leaps and bounds better than my puzzles. I was explaining that to Katie Jaggers the other day. I said, Sam and I have very, very two distinct styles. Mine is like I could give a fart about the puzzle. It's all about like me telling a story about history, and I use the puzzle as a very loose backdrop where Sam, your puzzles are okay. You do this. Are you done yet? Oh, how on earth would you think you're done? Like, no, there's like 5 or 6 more steps and 2 or 3 more like ciphers you need to put the like 2 or 3 more like code systems you need to put this through. Why would you ever think you were done? Because when I saw the thing, I was like, oh, Morse code, boom, I got this. And then it was like, my first thing.
Why would it just be Morse code?
It was XAGT. I was like, okay.
Yeah, obviously not. Do you have any stories for this week? Did anything interesting happen to you this week?
No, I live a boring life now. Let's see. Nope, I cannot think of a single story from this week. I'm so sorry. I have a you know how I'm always plotting and scheming with things on Solve It podcast. I have a new scheme, and I'm not going to tell you about it because I want this to be a train wreck, and but
Okay.
I accidentally kind of like tripped myself into finding someone whose aunt works for the Travel Channel. And so
I have so many questions. I'm just going to pass. Okay, go ahead.
But even more funny, this person's aunt is the vice president of Travel Channel.
Oh, wait. Also, can we hold on? So I just realized that Alex has been texting us, but because he paused to go do dad stuff, he is on like a 3-minute delay because he's just texting us about lasers right now. So he is actually on a 3-minute delay because he paused the live stream.
That's funny.
Okay. You know someone whose mom is the vice president?
No, someone whose aunt.
Okay.
Is the vice president of friggin' the Travel Channel.
Oh, man.
So my plan currently is to get to know this person really well. This person's aunt, and like just be like, hey, if you need 2 guys to travel the world and solve puzzles, I know just the guys.
Oh my gosh.
If you need 2 guys who have a steadily increasing subscribers on their podcast, I know just the guys.
Oh yeah, how is that going? Did we get more subscribers?
We got 1 more subscriber this week.
It's Lindsay.
Is it?
It's actual Lindsay. I don't know, maybe.
Oh no, it says I was looking at it, and yeah, we haven't gone down ever. And honestly, I was surprised we even got like, because last week we had 280, and because I have a growing fear that it's just gonna go down. Because I was like, it went up like, what did it go up? It went up. It went up 27 people. And I was like, oof, like there's no way that those 27 people are going to like hang out and like stay. But no, they did. And then we got like another person. So I'm very happy with just the 1 person we got this week, because every time we go up, I'm always like, who is listening to this?
I know. Okay. I have a joke. Have you seen The Usual Suspects?
I have.
Okay, cool.
not a puzzle. It's a suspense thriller.
Yeah, whatever. We've kind of run out of puzzle movies. Thanks for joining us this week on Solve It. If you want to follow us. Okay. Thanks for joining us this week on Solve It. If you want to follow us on Twitter or Instagram, we're at Solve It Podcast. We also have the website, solveitpodcast.com. You can follow us on our MySpace /Solve It Podcast. And if you want to leave a rate and review, that would be great on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. Thanks for joining us this week, and tune in next week when Zach uses coffee mugs and things around the room to create an alibi. Thanks. Bye. Does that joke make sense for The Usual Suspects?
It does, because I knew exactly what was happening with that. Man, that movie's so odd. Like, why couldn't he just made something up? Like, why did he have to use things around the room?
Oh yeah,
like,
well, I guess
is his kryptonite like just a blank room? Like,
his name was Mr. Stapler. Yeah. Oh, I just um. Okay, well, I'm gonna go because Sophie's actually here, and
Oh,
so I needed to
rad.
be done
Tell
at
her I
2.
said hello.
Yeah, she's asleep in the bed,
Classic
and I'm sitting in the
Sophie.
closet. So I'm gonna stop broadcasting. See you later, Alex. You're the realist.